Hi! Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you. I am Sir Stephen or Sir Steve, or you can call me Sir Steve, and I will be your virtual English teacher for today. So in this video, I'm going to discuss with you the content of your SLK or your module in English 10. So how are you doing so far? Are you done already answering all the activities in your module? How did you find them? Difficult or easy? What about this kind of learning? How do you find it? Is it interesting or is it boring? Well, I hope it's interesting because you have no choice but to feel that, since this is the new trend now, this is the new normal. So you have to embrace it, you have to accept it, and you have to enjoy it. Alright? For the entire video, I'm going to discuss what the title, what the topic is all about. And I'm going to also elaborate the instructions in each activity of the module so that you would know what to do. In case you are done already, well, still you have to watch this one so that if there are some corrections or if you had committed some mistakes, you can still correct them before you can submit your module to your English teacher. Now, if you are not yet done, well, this is very helpful for you. So watch it, watch the entire video so that you will understand the entire lesson and so that you can answer the activities easily.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Alright, let us now begin our discussion. So for today, we will be dealing with English 10, usage of advanced organizers or textual aids. Now, before we begin with the content, let me just ask you some questions. So how do you find reading texts independently and trying to understand them without the presence of your teacher? Do you find it easy? Do you find it so-so, or do you find it very difficult? This lesson is very timely since the lesson itself is related to the questions I have asked you. So it's not just because this is our lesson for today, but this goes beyond lesson 1. For the entire school year, you will be doing independent learning through modular approach. So you will be answering lots of modules for the entire school year. So this lesson, the first lesson itself, can help you ease the difficulty that you might encounter as you answer difficult activities. Alright? So let us now proceed. So textual aids, usage of advanced organizers. For today, our most essential learning competency is to determine the effect of textual aids like advanced organizers, titles, non-linear illustrations, and others on understanding of a text. I really understand that reading a passage is quite taxing, tiring, and difficult. 1. So you have to understand certain words you have not yet encountered. 2. You have to fight the boredom you can feel, especially once the text that you are reading is quite long. And 3. Your comprehension will be definitely tested and challenged. Now, how do you address these questions? How can you answer this? Should you simply message your English teacher and ask him or ask her every now and then? Well, that's okay, that's fine with us. If there are some things that are not really clear with you, you can ask your teacher. But you cannot do this all the time. You are already a grade 10 student, so much is expected of you. You are already expected to be to be an independent learner that can understand certain tasks all by yourselves. And in order for you to answer all these problems, all you have to do is to master textual aids. What do I know? So before I discuss the lesson, you can answer these activities. Before you proceed with the main topic of this learning kit, read the following paragraphs on the left side, then using the given diagram on the right side, present the ideas logically. You may also use keywords only. So this part of your module is like the introduction part. So it's like we are trying to gauge as to where is your level now when it comes to the topic being discussed. So you are to read now the life cycle of a plant. So there are, I think, 5 or 3 activities for this, but I just took one. The life cycle of a plant. The plant starts life as a seed which germinates and grows into a plant. The mature plant produces flowers which are fertilized and produce seeds in fruit or seed pod. The plant eventually dies, leaving seeds which germinate to produce new plants. Right, so how can you comprehend this easily? Well, you can make use of the graph or the diagram written on the right side. This one. Okay, so there are 4 circles. So you can take 4 ideas from what you have read. You can say starts life as a seed. So you can write it here. Starts life as like a seed. Germinates and grows into a plant. Okay, fertilize and produce seeds and fruits or seed pod. Here, 1, 2, 3, and then the last one eventually dies, living seeds which germinate new plants. So simply eventually dies and germinate new plants. So you can take these ideas, or if you have shorter answers, it's fine with me. So this is how we do it. So we are trying to test your prior knowledge as a measure for us to know your level towards the subject matter. Alright, let's continue. Now let's discuss what textual aid is, or what textual aids are. So from the term itself, you can actually have an idea already. So first, we have the word aid. So what comes in your mind when you hear the word aid? So aid, band-aid, something that helps, something that cures, something that eases, something that it's like a tool that helps you. So when we say textual aid, perhaps it can help you in understanding texts. Okay, that is if we will consider the term itself. Now, trying to read the definition given, textual aids are any educational materials or instruments, either written texts, printed texts, and other ways of emphasizing the essential phrases, thoughts, graphs, and or images. These are tools provided to facilitate and give better understanding. Facilitate, give better understanding of the texts. So I was correct. So when we say aid, it's like a tool that helps, that facilitates, or that provides a better understanding towards what? Towards texts. So sometimes if the text is quite long, it's very challenging in our part. So we might fail to comprehend it correctly or to understand it clearly. So to help us, we can use textual aids, right? So there are 2 types of textual aids. We have the linear and the non-linear text. For the first one, the most common type of textual aid is linear. So the root word is line. So it's like a straight point. It goes straight. So what does this mean? It's the most traditional method of reading taught to children. Reading a linear text involves reading from the beginning to the end. It's a simple way of reading a text. So if you were reading a story in Wattpad from the beginning to the end without using any graphic organizers or without textual aids, that is what we call linear textual aid. So it takes a certain amount of time before you find the specific information you needed. Since it is linear, it is read only in one sequential order. Examples of this are reading novels, poems, textbooks, letters, newspaper, and articles. On the other hand, when we say non-linear, of course, it's not straight. It's not straight. It reminds me of someone. Just kidding. It's the opposite of linear text. The readers do not have to go through the text to understand or to get the idea of the whole text. Since it is linear, it is non-sequential, meaning the reader can decide his own reading path. In a linear type of textual aid, it must be sequential. The first, the second, the third, you cannot jump or you cannot skip. On the other hand, if it's non-linear, then you have the liberty to decide which path will you take in reading. Furthermore, the nonlinear text allows the reader to find specific information more quickly and efficiently. So through the use of nonlinear textual aids, you have you need not to read the entire novel that you are reading. So you may use some of these textual aids. Examples of these are what we call advanced or graphic organizers, illustrations, photographs, maps, diagrams, and timelines. Alright, how do you find it so far? Clear? Alright, so let us continue. So let's begin with advanced or graphic organizer and its use. This is one of the most popular non-linear textual aids. Maybe you are not familiar with the term, but in your previous activities, quizzes, exams, in your subjects, maybe some of your teachers have already included this in their tests. So when we say advanced organizer, it is also known as a graphic organizer. So advanced organizer or graphic organizer. It is a tool used to introduce a certain topic and illustrate the relationship between what the students are about to learn and the information they have already learned. It is also a visual organization, meaning to say something that can be seen, to present the ideas and serves as a guide to the students on how to think about it. It provides summarized ideas regarding something or someone. Remember what I said a while ago? In a linear textual aid, you cannot skip, so you have to start from the beginning up to the middle, going to the end. On the other hand, if it's non-linear, you have the liberty to proceed to any reading path you would like to. So that this is related to that, so you can summarize ideas using it. In the classroom, an advanced organizer helps the teacher present the information in the way the students can better understand the lesson or the topic. Some teachers do not need to write the entire text or entire definition of a particular terminology in their subject. Some of them are using graphic organizers in order for you students to understand the lesson quickly and more easily. Okay, now how do we use advanced or graphic organizers? One, you have to know your topic, of course. You have to identify your topic. You have to find the details needed. You have to summarize the details. And the main purpose of using graphic organizers is to avoid giving verbose or too wordy answers. So through graphic organizer, you have to lessen, or you will lessen your words. Make them in order, meaning to say organize the ideas in such a way that it's not distorted and it's not difficult to understand, because you are define the main purpose of using graphic organizers if that is the case. And of course, you have to write them in illustrations in accordance to what graphic organizer you are about to use, depending upon the shape, the arrow, and others. Now, what is the importance of using graphic or advanced organizers? Some of these are: 1. it highlights and shows relationships. So you can identify cause and effect relationships through the use of graphic organizer. Why did the phenomenon happen? What is the reason? So you would highlight relationships. It visualizes and simplifies ideas. So you can, some learners are visual learners. They tend to understand more if they see some illustrations, charts, graphs, or images. Third, it organizes information. Just like me, I want things to be organized and orderly. So every time I read something, I make it a point that I use a graphic organizer so that the information I'm reading is organized. And finally, it directs learners' attention to what is important. Most commonly used advanced organizers. Now let's talk about the most commonly used advanced organizers. So these are the images and these are the terms. Actually, from the term itself, you would have already an idea as to how the particular organizer works. Number one, so we have what we call cycle diagram. So you can see here, it is like the first activity we did a while ago in when we talk about the life of a plant. So when we say cycle diagram, so it's a diagram that talks about cycles, procedures, step by step. It shows a cycle of something from its beginning but without an end. So if there is a beginning and then it ends and then it continues again, it restarts and go on and so on and so on. So we can use cycle diagram. So it's like plant, it starts from a seed, it grows to a plant, it blossoms and it has flowers, it dies, and then from the flowers, from the seeds again, it grows into a seed and then it blooms and then it dies, and the cycle goes on and on and on and on. So we can use cycle diagram. So it's like, for example, in science to show the life cycle. Next, we have the fishbone map. So you can see it here. It's like a fishbone. This is like the head of the fish, and then we have this part, and then we have this part. So what is a fishbone map? It is used if the topic involves investigating the cause and effect of even multiple cause and effect. So the main purpose of using fishbone map is for cause and effect relationship. What is the cause of, let's say, landslide? Suppose that you are residing in mountainous part of Tarlac, and these places are prone to landslides. So what do you think are the reasons? What are the causes why landslides take effect or happen? So you can say maybe because of the illegal logging, trees are cut. That's why mountains tend to erode. And as they erode, so there are some landslides, and landslide is the effect. Next, we have the third one, flow diagram or sequence chart. So we have keywords already, flow and sequence. So these are charts or diagrams, perhaps that talk about certain flow or sequence of a phenomenon or of an activity. So this one is the picture. It shows a series of steps or events in order for which they take place. It is an excellent tool for presenting the steps necessary to reach a final point. For example, the TLE teacher used this to show the procedure of baking a banana cake. Alright. So somehow it's similar to a cycle diagram, but a cycle diagram does not have an end. Here it has an end. So there is a beginning and then there are some steps or procedures to reach the final point. So it's like cooking. So this one is applicable in TLE classes. The next one is the main idea and details chart. So it's a chart that talks about main idea or details of what you are reading. It is used to show the hierarchical, important to less important, relationship between major concept and subordinate details. So you may use the general idea, and then from the general idea you can come up with a specific idea, or vice versa, from the specific idea, you can come up with the general idea. For example, in literature, the teacher wants to show the relationship of the characters to the main character of the story. So you can use here, suppose, let's talk about, what story are you very familiar with? Let's say English 10, Greek classics. So let's talk about Iliad or Troy, the movie Troy. So you can come up here with the character Achilles, and then who are related to Achilles. So you can name another one here, Odysseus, and then you can come up with another character here, and then some other sub-characters, and so on. So that's the main idea and details chart. Aside from characters, also you can come up here with the, let's say, main happening. So something happened in the entire story, and then what are the details of this, okay, and so on. Next is the concept map. This one is one of the basic and popular diagrams or textual aids. It shows a central idea, so concept. It shows a concept with its corresponding characters. It may take different shapes and can be used to show any type of relationship that can be labeled. Okay, this one is very general. For example, you want to discuss the influence of the political belief system here of a country, and then this one, and so on. Okay. Sometimes textual organizers overlap. Sometimes they have the same purpose. Okay, so don't get confused. It's okay. Next, we have the tree diagram. So it looks like a tree. It's ideal for displaying hierarchically structured data. Let's say you're talking about your family tree. That's one. For example, this can be used to show the kinds of novels which William Shakespeare has written and published. Alright. So you can display data here. What kind of play did Shakespeare publish? So you can write here comedy, historical, tragedy, and so on. Then we have the most common chart or diagram used in mathematics. So we have the pie chart. So it looks like a pie, that's why it's called pie chart. It is a circular statistical graphic which is divided into slices. So these are the slices to illustrate the numerical proportion of a whole. So if we're talking about numerical proportion, let's say how many students from Balanti have internet connection, how many have just data connection, and how many do not have any data or internet connection. So you may use a pie chart. Next is spider map. So it's like Spider-Man. So it's called spider map because first and foremost, it looks like a spider. Look at this one. Okay, maybe in this drawing it looks like a turtle, but actually it's a spider. It is called Semantic Map. It is a tool, so it's also known as Semantic Map. It's a tool used to investigate and to enumerate various aspects of a single topic. For example, it can be used to find methods on how to improve the study habit of a student. So you will write here, study habit of a student. So what are the ways to improve the study habits? So you can use that semantic mapping. Next, you have seen this lots of time in your multiple times in your exams. Venn diagram. You will compare and contrast this particular blah blah blah. So it shows the difference and similarities of someone or something. The main purpose is for comparing and contrasting. So you can write here the unique characteristic of A and then of B. Their unique characteristics, their contrasts or their differences. And then here in the middle, since it coincides here, then you have to write here the comparisons or the similarities. Okay? Now, there are lots of advanced or graphic organizers available on the internet, which you can use to help you interpret information and to keep things in order. Remember the saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. It's very true. It is indeed a great way to digest a large amount of information. You can use them in organizing and reviewing your lectures for more effective retention. Alright, let's continue now. What have I learned? So these are the activities you have to answer. I will not give you tips because that might give you the correct answers. I'll just elaborate the directions. For what I have learned part, so congratulations, you've just learned the kinds of textual aids. Hooray! Congratulations! Now for the task 1, find my match. So you have to match the drawing from its definition. Very basic. Alright? Task number 2. You feel me, I feel you. So it's all about filling up something or filling out something. So the directions is read the text. So this is the text. So you have to read it and then fill the diagram below. So what are you going to fill? So as you read this one, you have to look for the advantages or the pros, the green one, and the disadvantages or the cons, the red one. So you have to find 5 pros and 5 cons. About what? About information technology. So this passage has something to do about information technology, and you have to identify 5 pros and 5 cons. Clear? Okay. Next. Transcode me, task number 3. So there is another article below, so you have to read it carefully. And then you have to design and illustrate your own advanced organizer below. So there is a box provided below this, and that box is allotted for your own advanced organizer. So you have to think of your own organizer. You can use different shapes, different animals, or insects. Instead of spider map, you can use butterfly map, Carabao map, or whatever map you have in your idea, you have in your mind. Okay? Now, what are you going to present using your organizers? You are to present the ideas about the symptoms of COVID-19. So this article has something to do about COVID-19. So read and understand it and then present the symptoms. The symptoms. You will be graded according to the following. The design of your drawing or your graph is 50%. Wow, that's huge. Your content is 40%. And of course, if it's neat and clean, it's 10%. For task number 4, complete me. So you have to complete something. So you have to complete the fishbone map. So there is the fishbone map below. Causes and effects. About what? About bullying at school. So you have to identify the causes and effects of bullying written on the box. So here are bullying cases in Armenia Integrated School. You have to read and understand them, alright? Next, task number 5, in your own words. So you have to use your own words. Fill out the speech balloons. These are the speech balloons. The first part are given. You have to continue it. The use of advanced organizer is blah blah blah. Ideas can be blah blah blah. With your personal experience on the effect of advanced organizers. So how do you find using advanced organizers as textual aids? Do you think they are helpful in understanding the text you are reading? So you have to write your answers here. And your discovery task, let's reflect. So you have to reap. You have to reap a lot from this. Since you have ripped a lot from this lesson kit, it's time for you to reflect. So there's no wrong answer here. You just have to write your own idea. How does the use of advanced organizers affect your understanding of the article you have read in task 3? So write your sentence. And that's it. So good luck. Good luck in answering the activities. I hope somehow I have helped you understand the main topic, which is the advantage or the use of textual aids. So the use of linear and non-linear textual aids. Again, I am Sir Steve, Sir Steph, or Sir Stephen, and see you again next time in our next lesson for module number 2 next week. Have a nice day. Good luck. Bye-bye.
I'm an icon, man. I'm a girl about a 10. I should fuck her in a Benz.